Miami Dolphin fan, let me ask you something. You love the Dolphins? Do you think they are the greatest football team? How about the greatest show on surf? If you answered yes to any or all of these questions, then fins up and surfs up to the greatest show on surf.shop today. Celebrate the most explosive offense in the NFL with this awesome exclusive merch. From jackets, hats, shirts, and more, they have it all. Use promo code FINSTALK and save 15% on your order. Show off your fandom. Don't wait. Go to thegreatestshowonsurf.shop today.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk Rants, where all the Dolphins come to get their dose of reality. That's right, dose of reality. I want to welcome everybody tonight. Appreciate y'all stopping by. Make sure you hit that like button when you come in. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and share with your friends, your families, and your neighbors. Again, I appreciate y'all coming in tonight. It's the premiere show of Real Talk Rants. And I'm excited to do it. Something that I've had in the back burner for a while. I really wanted to do something like this. I see Evan is in the house. Thank you, Evan, for stopping by, brother. Raphael is in the house as well. I'm here in South Florida too. So what better place to start off the premiere show but in South Florida? So I'm here with family visiting and just having a good old time. So appreciate you for dropping by. Yeah, tonight's going to be exciting, man. It's going to be an exciting night. And I think this is the first solo show that I've done as far as on my own. I know I've done some pregame shows on Dolphins Thirsty Network. They went pretty well when I had to go solo, when Rob would go off to the Hard Rock Stadium and watch his games and stuff. So he allowed me to have the honors of going on his show and doing the pregame show, and I enjoyed that a lot. So we got a lot to talk about. I don't know if we're going to get through it all tonight. I've been kind of busy, still have a lot to do here in the South Florida area, visiting family. So we're going to we'll see how it goes tonight. I'd like to go, 30, 45 minutes, but we'll see how it goes. What I plan to do, and we'll get right to the show here in a second, but what I'd like to do is, we're going to keep Tuesday therapy. We'll probably do that. My plans are once a month. We'll do the Tuesday therapy where everybody can come in and give us your opinions, how you feeling, rant if you have to, and and come in for some therapy. And then I would like to do in the near future. I would also like to have some panel shows where I can have some guests just come on and talk and shoot the breeze. Those would probably be a little longer shows for the panel show. But for right now, I'm just testing the waters, see how this goes. Let's get to the show. So, as everybody has seen, the title is Tua. Now I forgot what the doggone title was. Oh, don't compare Tua to any other quarterback. And we're going to get to that. That's going to be the meat of the show. But first, I wanted to talk a little bit about, there has been some news. And the biggest news that I'm very happy about is the Calais Campbell signing. Okay. Man, that's a big signing. Greer was on the ball on that signing. I love it. I know the guy's 37, 38 years old. He's a little on the older side, but he's still highly productive. And he is the best person you could have in there to take Christian Wilkins' spot. Okay, he's the defensive tackle. I think he has played a little bit of the defensive end spot, but he's in there in the trenches next to Zach Sealer. So I think that was a great signing. And to be honest, I don't know how you all feel, but I really like it. And I'm curious to see what the contract is going to be like. I know when he was playing with Atlanta, he signed a 2-year contract, I believe. I believe it was Atlanta. And I think it was for like $7 million a year or something like that, $14 million 2-year contract. I haven't really got into the details on that, but so at a good price, highly productive. And let me give you some stats here of his production. Compare them with the Christian Wilkins, and you'll see where I'm coming from on this. So, and I got these specific stats from PFF. I know it's not the gospel. I like it. It's a good indicator of a player's production and performance. And his rating, his score was an 80, where Christian Wilkins' score was a 74.9. 74.9. He had 36 tackles. Christian Wilkins had 39. 11 assists. Christian Wilkins had 12. Now, here's where Christian Wilkins is in the lead. Christian Wilkins, he had 10 sacks in the Fangio system. His best year as far as sacks go for Christian Wilkins when he played in the Fangio system. And Calais Campbell had 7, so not bad. Not bad. I mean, he's up there, right up there too. Okay, and he's been consistent. He's been very consistent in that category. He had 1 forced fumble and Christian Wilkins had 1 forced fumble as well. Now, Christian Wilkins also led in 23 quarterback hits. Christian Wilkins had 23 quarterback hits, and Calais Campbell had 17. So not too far off. So this is a great move by Chris Grier. Great fit for the Dolphins, and the benefit also, the bonus is he played with Anthony Weaver in Baltimore and was very productive with him. So he's very familiar with our defensive coach. How's it going, Cap? I see you in there, brother. Thanks for joining us tonight, man. But yeah, so I'm really happy with his signing. I see Raphael put in there. Let's see, Raphael. What did Raphael have to say? We'll put it right up here. He said CC had 6.5 sacks in Atlanta. Campbell said at the press conference he prefers to play with hand on ground and not standing up. Bingo. There you go. So good replacement for Christian Wilkins. I don't think we're going to lose anything there in the trenches. And not only that, but we've done really well this year in the draft, right? Drafting Kamara and Chop Robinson, and I know that was a need. I know that was definitely a need. With Phillips and Chubb probably not going to come back until maybe the fifth, sixth game of the season. Somewhere in there. We don't know. Nobody knows. I hope they come back sooner. But he did well in getting depth, is what I'm saying. Basically, we got a lot of good depth and a bunch of defensive tackles. I mean, out of 6-7 defensive tackles, somebody needs to break the mold and come in as a rotational role, rotational role. So we'll see. I'm just very, very happy with that signing. But now I want to get into the Tua, a little bit of the contract with Tua, how maybe that's going, and some of my opinion on that. And then I wanted to get into a lot of Dolphin fans like to compare Tua Tagovailoa to all these different quarterbacks, especially Herbert and Goff and Lamar Jackson, and the list goes on and on and on. Look, Tua Tagovailoa. This is my opinion. Tua Tagovailoa doesn't play for the Los Angeles Chargers. He doesn't play for the Baltimore Ravens. He doesn't play for the Detroit Lions. He plays for the Miami Dolphins. He's on my team, our Dolphins team. Okay. I don't care about the comparisons. And to be quite frank with you, when you make the comparisons, it really makes you look bad because a lot of times, these comparisons, good or bad, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. It's like a 12-year-old, right? Oh, I've got a better looking, Hot Wheels car than you do. No, mine is better. It has these wheels and that wheels and this wheels or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You get the point. So I don't like normally to do comparisons of quarterbacks. I just don't. I just don't like doing that, especially with Tua Tagovailoa. He's his own unique quarterback in our Mike McDaniel system, right? Yes, Mike McDaniel system. And what I mean by that is our system is similar to the San Francisco 49ers, right? But Mike McDaniel has done a great job with our quarterback. He's not a quarterback guru. He's a running back coordinator, and he was an offensive coordinator at San Francisco, but he didn't call the plays, right? We all know that. Shanahan called the plays. But nonetheless, he's a great play designer, all that stuff. But what he does and what he's done with our quarterback, right? And he also did it when Garoppolo was there. What he does is he brings out the best of the players, every player that's on the team, running backs and the quarterbacks. He brings their best out. He utilizes their strengths. And sometimes that's good. Sometimes that's bad. In the case of Tua Tagovailoa, our quarterback, he's done a great job in bringing out his strengths, but Tua Tagovailoa hasn't been working on his weaknesses. And now he'll try to throw a pass, outside the numbers or something like that, but it's not very successful. Okay. Example, look at the Kansas City game. He was way off the mark and outside. He just doesn't have the strength in the arm strength, the velocity to get it there quick and fast and accurate in the placement of the ball. He just doesn't. Now, that's where we want to, if you want to compare quarterbacks, if you want to go that route, which I normally don't like, Brock Purdy. Look at Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's similar in size as Tua Tagovailoa. Little stronger arm as far as his velocity of his throws, the force in his throws. He can throw outside the numbers. Okay. I'm not saying he's better than Tua at throwing outside the numbers, but I guess a little better, a hair better than Tua. He's not comfortable throwing outside the numbers, but he can do it. And the thing about it is he is mobile. So he has that advantage. He's a very mobile quarterback, and he improvises. And he knows how to utilize his receivers, his tight end, and of course, they've got McCaffrey back there. But there's no excuses, okay? Who does Tua have in the backfield? We got Mostert. We got Achane. Okay, we had Wilson. And we've got this year, which I think is a great pickup. We'll see if he gets on the field or not. Okay. Who knows? Is Mostert going to take Wright's, the rookie Wright's, some of his touches? What I do like about it is we know that Achane didn't stay healthy the whole year. We know that Mostert didn't stay healthy the whole year. So that's a good pickup where he can come in and he can, relieve those two guys, maybe even during the course of the game, in the regular season. We'll see, depending on how he does in camp and all that kind of stuff, but we'll see. But anyway, so that's why I really don't like comparing Tua. But if you want to go that route, there was an article in SI.com. I don't know if you all saw it. And they had an article in there about our quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, and his contract, Cox, how it's going, and all that kind of stuff. And every running back in the group was injured at one point during the season. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Very true, Raphael. Absolutely right about that. Absolutely right. But anyway, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. I don't know. Maybe I will. I say I won't, but I'll probably get engulfed in it and start reading a lot of it. But anyway, it goes like this. It says Dolphins facing franchise defining decision with Tua Tagovailoa's next contract. And then it said that the former first round pick has a share of detractors, but he's put up big numbers, and that's true. We've seen it. When things are going right, right, everything's perfect around him, and everything's going perfect for him. He puts up big numbers, right? He puts up the big numbers. No denying that. He's not a bad quarterback. If he can do that, he's a good quarterback. So I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. Sooner or later, the Dolphins must decide whether Tua Tagovailoa can lead the franchise to the Super Bowl. To the Super Bowl. Not a playoff game. To the Super Bowl. Okay? That's what we want. A Super Bowl. Of course, there's steps along the way, but the goal is Super Bowl. And in my opinion, I don't think Tua has it in him to do that. I don't think he has the moxie. I don't think he has the tools or the mental capacity to do that. Okay, as far as toughness and that kind of thing, and we'll get to that as we go along in the article here. It says Tua Tagovailoa is capable, but he is also imperfect, just like I was saying. Unfortunately for the Miami Dolphins, having such a quarterback in the NFL is the ultimate franchise-altering dilemma when it's time to decide on a new contract. That's what they're going through right now, okay? In my opinion, that's what they're going through right now. Chris Grier, Mike McDaniel, the organization, they're saying, wait a minute. He's only been, available for a full season last year, right? Last year he was only available. That was his first healthy season, right? And okay, has he won a playoff game? Nope. They hadn't won a playoff game. Did he get us to the playoffs? Yeah, we got to the playoffs. But then again, last year I heard a bunch of talk in X and all the spaces and a lot of Dolphins and all this. They're saying, oh man, if Tua Tagovailoa was in there, he would have won that Buffalo game, or he would have won, those 4 games that we lost there in the end, right? Look what happened. He's done this every freaking single year that he's been a quarterback in a uniform with the Miami Dolphins. Every year, okay? And you know what? I'll even give him a buy on his first 2 years. But let's just say the last 2 years, which is still bad, okay? Collapse of the end, okay? He's done that. This is the kind of stuff that Chris Grier, Mike McDaniel, and the Dolphins organization are evaluating, okay? That's what they're evaluating, okay? Because if they're not evaluating, they're not having these thoughts like us as Dolphins are having, okay, then something wrong there. Okay, they got to be having those same thoughts. They got eyes. These guys are in the organization, right? They've been around football for years and years. Mike McDaniel's been a coach for 18, 19 years. He knows what he's looking at. He knows what he's seeing. Okay, so they see the same stuff that we do, fellas. Now, and it also goes on, speaking to leaked sources, opinions on what Tagovailoa's future with the Miami Dolphins should be, they're scattershot. They're scattershot. So you got a lot of different opinions and stuff like that. But when we get into the nitty gritty and the meat and bones here, right down to dirty, it says in the article, it says the best way to look at it is you prepare for the speed at the skill positions, talking about defensive coordinators and teams, what they do, and Mike McDaniel, and then Tua, and then our quarterback. Okay. Defensive coordinators, okay, good defensive coordinators, good defenses, right? Buffalo, Philly, Kansas City, all the good teams we lost to, right? This is how they're preparing for the Miami Dolphins. First, they're preparing for Waddle, for Tyreek, then Tua Tagovailoa. Okay, and it says he doesn't like to get hit or read coverage. You know why he doesn't like to read coverage? Because he's not a good processor. He doesn't process the field. Okay, after the first read, he's lost. He breaks down. It's over with. The play's done. Okay, he's very good. He's a rhythm and timing quarterback. Okay, and I wouldn't even say anticipation. Some people say, "Oh, great anticipation." No, it's not good. These are all predetermined plays by Mike McDaniel. Okay, and another thing that Tua does very well, and he's elite at this. He's very good and elite at manipulating linebackers and cornerbacks and defensive backs. And a lot of folks, when they see Tua Tagovailoa going back to pass, he goes back, he'll look to the right, right? We see this all the time. He'll look to the right and then wham, he'll throw it to the left. People think, oh, he's processing the field. No, he's not. He's manipulating the linebackers and the cornerbacks and the safeties. That's what he's doing. And guess what? If when he's looking over here and then he throws it, if the guy's covered or he's not there, he gets rerouted, he throws it anyway to the spot. We've heard that many, many, many times from other players in the league that have said that. Okay? I've said it. Other podcasters that we well know have said that. Okay? Now we're talking about defensive coordinators, general managers that are saying that, and players that have said that. Who's right? Who's right? The Tuaneers? The Tua cult? Are they right? Anyway, I digress. Despite playing behind an average offensive line, true, very true, average offensive line, okay, with the exception of Terron Armstead and Connor Williams, okay, and Robert Hunt, whom we had, now when Armstead is healthy and he's at his best, he's one of the best tackles in football. Connor Williams was number 5 center in football. We no longer have him. We know Armstead is not going to play all the games this year. That's almost a given. And we don't have Robert Hunt. And those were 3 players that were solid. And we lost them. But anyway, average offensive line. And if you think about it, it is. When Connor's not in, when Connor wasn't in there, Terron Armstead wasn't in there, Robert Hunt even got hurt last year a little bit, right? It's an average line and sometimes even below average. But the thing is Mike McDaniel has and Tua Tagovailoa are working together really good. They've developed his strengths, and his strengths are getting the ball out quick, his rhythm, and his timing. His timing and his accuracy is good when the players are wide open. Because if you notice that the players are covered, or he has to throw outside the numbers or anything like that, his ball placement is terrible. Terrible. Okay? But anyway, so let me get back into this article. So, if I find it. Okay. And of course, we know he doesn't like to get hit, right? What quarterback does like to get hit? Okay, that's a given. Okay, but particularly with Tua's injuries and the concussions, honestly, guys, I think that how's it going, Vito? Thanks for joining us tonight, brother. I think with his concussions that he had the previous year, some of the injury history he had, maybe he is. How's it going, Shake Money? I think he is a little hesitant to do. Now, he's not a Lamar Jackson. We know he's not a Josh Allen. We know this. He's not a Mahomes. He's none of those guys, okay, as far as mobility goes and stuff. But I think he has made plays. I mean, he has created plays at times, okay? At times. We have seen him do it. But that's not his forte, okay? He's not going to, some quarterbacks do it 3, 4, 5 times a game, even more. He does it maybe once or twice every 4 or 5 games. We'll see. Oh, wow. He'll wow us, Wow, well, look at that. And that's the dumb video we see on X. Look at him. He can do it. Okay. How many other times you can count them on your hands, right? Your 5 fingers of how many times he's done it throughout the year. Okay. So anyway, he says he doesn't like to get hit or he read coverage. He doesn't like to read coverage, and that Mike McDaniel has made it very elementary. Yes, elementary for Tua Tagovailoa. So all he has to do is hit that first read, timing, rhythm, everything's perfect. He's elite. When he looks elite when he does that, right? He says when he's at his best, RPOs in the quick game. That's when he's at his best, right? Just like we were just saying. And then the next question to ask yourself, and I want to ask you guys in the chat, okay? I want you to get involved here, and I want to ask you guys, and you tell me. It says, how many quarterbacks would you take before Tua Tagovailoa for your team? How many would you take? How many would you take? I already know how many I would take. And I'm going to show you. PFF also did something else on rankings of players on the team, on our Miami Dolphins team, where they rank as far as throughout the NFL. Okay. How many quarterbacks would you take? Let's see. But what did Bobby's comment? Let me go with what Bobby said here real quick. He made a comment. I want to see what he said. He said, expects to be ready for the start of the season. And, okay. My bad. Disregard, guys. Disregard that. Anyway, I thought he was referring to me. So yeah, how many quarterbacks would you take before Tua Tagovailoa to start a franchise team? Right? Because we know what he plays like when he was with Flores. It wasn't the quick game, right? It wasn't the quick game. Okay? It was the checkdowns. He got really good at checkdowns. So Flores said, we'll just do some check down passes. And now don't get me wrong. He had Waddle, and he made some nice passes with Waddle, he was familiar with in Alabama. I'm not saying it was all bad, but it's not the same system that we's playing in now, which enhances his strengths and disguises his weaknesses. All right. I'll leave you with that thought. How many quarterbacks? Raphael says many. Well, there's a few, but like I said, Tua Tagovailoa is not a bad quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He's good enough to win you some games, and he's good enough not to be good enough. Let's put it that way. He's good enough not to be good enough, and that's the eye test that I have with him. That's the eye test, right? For me, was he's good enough not to be good enough. But getting back to I'm going to go back to despite playing behind an average offensive line, which he has, right? Sometimes we had some injuries. So yes, it was probably below average at times throughout the year, right? It says Tua Tagovailoa was protected by McDaniel's scheme. He only faced pressure on 15.7% of his dropbacks. 15.7% he faced pressure. And that's because of the quick pass, right? The quick release, getting it out there, and the first read. Okay. And also, I didn't know if you all knew this. Did you know that when Tua Tagovailoa has more than 2.5 passes, 2.5 seconds to throw the ball, right? he gets worse because of his processing, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Could be wrong. So anyway, so let me get back into this, the meat of the article. I hope you guys are enjoying this article. I know I did. It's very, very interesting. And it just kind of, I'll be honest with you. You know, when I read it, I'm like, God, dog, isn't that what I've been saying? And I get hell for it all the time. Isn't that what I've been saying for the last 2 years? And me and you know the folks, TD Fins Talk, Mr. Negative on X, and Pete's Takes, and all that kind of stuff. Others, not just those guys, but there's been others, and now we've got defensive coordinators and general managers saying it. So, and it says he had the third lowest figure in 2023 for qualifying quarterbacks, right? For 15.7% of dropbacks, the third lowest. This is due to his 2.1 seconds, as we said, his quick release, 2.1 seconds in the pocket per dropback. The quickest release time in the sport. He has the quickest release time in the sport. I would even say he might even have a quicker release time than Dan Marino. To be honest with you, at times he has. So, but other quarterbacks, and there's like 14 or 15 other quarterbacks. I was looking at a stat and the other day, there's like 14 or 15 other quarterbacks that get the ball off in like 2.4. I think Brock Purdy's one of them, 2.4, 2.5, 2.3, 2.6, you know, in that range. Okay. Still not as quick as Tua's, but it's still getting the ball quick, right? A lot of quarterbacks, to be quite frank with you, a lot of quarterbacks, and even Tom Brady had mentioned this, a lot of your quarterbacks are not very good in it, you know, and it's not their fault, maybe, at reading defenses. They're just not very good at that, you know. And another thing, let me ask you this. Have you heard Tua Tagovailoa make an audible at the line of scrimmage? Here's our franchise quarterback, supposedly, that we want to pay all this big money. Some of us believe he should. I believe he should play on his 5th-year option, right? But have you heard him audible at the line of scrimmage? I think he's done it maybe twice that I know of. Maybe you all can help me out here. I've only seen him audible once. And one time he bragged about it at the podium after a game. Yeah, I made that call on my own and threw it to Tyreek Hill. He was wide open, and he was wide open. But anyway, it was a good call. I give him credit for it, but he doesn't audible very much. Okay. Now I get it. It takes quarterbacks, you know, some time and experience to learn that, right? But Mike McDaniel doesn't unless he does it this year, things change this year. I doubt it. I don't think Mike McDaniel's going to change this system because it is going good for him. We had the number 1 offense in the league last year at one point, right? You think they're going to change that scheme? Really? Here's another thing, and we'll get back to Tua. I know I'm going off the beaten path here, but what the hell? John O. Smith, tight end. Everybody's saying, oh, man, he's a great pass catcher, and he's going to make a big difference for Tua, and he's going to be a safety valve and everything like that. How many freaking times has Tua Tagovailoa looked at the tight end? Even when we had Gesicki. How many times does he look at his tight end? First read now. How many times? It's always Tyreek, 90% of the time. Well, I'll even say 85% of the time. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. 85% of the time. Tyreek. You don't think other defensive coordinators know that? All right. So it says, regardless of the split opinions on the quarterback, the formula worked. Bingo. Just like I said, he's not changing that formula. It's going to be the same thing next year. I guarantee it. And John O. Smith, going back to him, he had his best year last year. Last year was his best year, and he only caught 3 touchdown passes. He's a good blocker. Very good blocker. But I hope he can make a difference. I hope. I know Devon Achan has been saying I'd like to get him on the show as a guest. That's what another thing I like to do is get guests on, other podcasters, and possibly some of the players. But anyway, I'd love to get Achan on. I like that kid. But anyway, he's been working as a receiver a lot, and he's been getting mentored by Tyreek and Waddle, all the receiver group. He said, so maybe we'll see some more passes, for getting him out in space, because I don't believe he should have Achan running up the middle, right? Outside, maybe, in space, that kind of stuff. That's what I'd like to see Achan used. Okay. It said last year, Tua Tagovailoa led in the NFL passing yardage, 46-24. Okay. It's okay. A lot of quarterbacks are doing that these days, right? He also threw 29 touchdowns, better than last year, but he played 4 more games. But he had 14 interceptions. Fair enough. He played 4 more games. He led the Dolphins in the second straight playoff appearance. Okay. I agree. He did lead the Dolphins to a playoff appearance last year. Last year. The year before, it was a mixture, okay, of Teddy Bridgewater and Skylar Thompson, right? Or the year before last. So, but we'll give credit to Tua, okay? Let's just say that he led us to they made it to the playoffs. 9-8 record, but we made it. Doesn't matter how we made it. We made it. Right? New York Giants won a 9-8 record. They beat the New England Patriots back in the day, right? So they did make it. He says in 2022, it's a good thing too that it was our second playoff appearance. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Okay? We got to get to the next level though. In 2022, the Alabama product placed the league in yards per attempt, 9.2. That was in 22. Yards per completion, 13.7, and passer rating of 105.5. Actually, last year, he digressed a little bit. He digressed in all those areas. Okay? I think Tua Tagovailoa has hit his ceiling. I really do. Unless Tom House and John Beck, have found something that that might enhance another strength that he didn't even know he had. Okay. So I know his mechanics have died. He was always good when it came to mechanics, throwing the ball and stuff like that. But last year he had problems throwing off the back foot. His mechanics weren't there last year. Okay. Even though he had a great year. Okay. As far as quarterback, like I said, he was good, but his mechanic, hey, how you doing, Silas? My grandson. But anyway, his mechanics broke down. It says now their opinion is the Dolphins should pay him. Doggone it, I lost it. It said the Dolphins should pay him if they're going to pay him, right? I don't think they should. But if they pay him, let me find it again. The Dolphins should pay him between the 5th and the 10th ranked quarterbacks. Okay? A veteran front office said. So an executive said this, okay? They don't name who it was. The executive is anonymous, but that's what he said. That's his opinion. He has some talent and fits the system perfectly for this McDaniel system, but there's no real upside, and medical is scary. So basically, he's saying he's reached his ceiling. There's no more upside. Okay, he is what he is. In medical, we know about his concussions and his injuries history. And he also, his opinion is, and I've said this, other folks have said this, he will only be as good as the players around him. Let me repeat that. He will only be as good as the players around him. Tyreek Hill may not be here next year. Some of the defensive pieces, okay, there's an out. There's no guaranteed money for Tyreek next year. Bradley Chubb, there's no guaranteed monies. Jalen Ramsey, no guaranteed monies. Terron Armstead, he won't be here next year. Kendall Lamb, who's a very good piece that replaced Terron Armstead when he went down. He's retiring. He won't be here next year. We've already lost Robert Hunt, Connor Williams. Right? Some of the players that we signed this year that I praise Chris Greer on, right? Good depth pieces, good rotational pieces. It won't be here next year. 1-year contracts, 1-year deals. They may not be here next year. Keep that in mind. And it says, based on the current deals, putting Tagovailoa somewhere between the 5th and 10th highest paid quarterbacks means a total value of 180 to 258 million. And that's what I think he'll probably get, somewhere in that neighborhood if they decide to pay him. But right now, to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, hi, Hammer Time. Appreciate you for joining. I'm not sure if they're going to pay him. They just might pay him, let him play his 5th-year option out, right? And if he doesn't do well next year, let's say he doesn't ball out, we don't get to the playoffs. Just saying, guys, I'm not saying we're not. But if he doesn't, see, people don't talk about that. I give you a dose of reality. But anyway, if he doesn't, we can do it. We say goodbye, right? And we can draft a quarterback. Yeah, it might be a rebuild, right? Hey, CJ Stroud did pretty good with Houston Texans, right? So, there's a chance that we may even get we could get a veteran in here if he doesn't ball out. Okay, there's ways around it. All right? People always say, "Well, he's the only one that can run this system. He's the best for this system." How do you know that another quarterback isn't could not run this system? We don't know that. There's no evidence of that. That's just opinions, right? I have mine. You all have yours. Other people have theirs, right? There's other quarterbacks that can run this system. Trust me, there is. Anyway, and if he balls out, they can still put him they can franchise tag him and say, "Hey, look, Tua, we still want to give you another year." They can do that twice, right? And if he doesn't ball out in his 7th year, let's say they give him another chance and he doesn't ball out in his 7th year, bye, right? And maybe they have another quarterback standing in the wind somewhere, right? We don't know. That's too far down the line. But like I said, I'm going to give you all a dose of reality. I don't sugarcoat here on this channel, as you know from Real Talk, Finn's Talk when I was with Rob. I don't sugarcoat stuff, man. I'm gonna tell you my true feelings. I'm gonna be honest with you all. I'm not gonna push hopium. I don't push hopium. Okay, we've pushed hopium for 30 years. I'm not gonna keep pushing hopium every year until we do something. Right? Win the playoffs. Tua plays better, wins a playoff game or whatever. The team. Maybe I'll push a little hopium. But right now, I'm done pushing hopium. I've done that for many years prior. I'm not doing it anymore until they prove to me, okay, our quarterback and our team as a whole, right, do something in the playoffs. I'm happy they went to the playoffs, but they didn't win. All right. So anyway, that I just want to give you a touch base on that article a little bit. But yeah, that's probably what they're gonna pay him if they do decide to pay him. And a lot of folks say, well, he's gonna get golf money, $53 million, or he's gonna get Trevor Lawrence money, $55 million. They're not making that kind of money. Number one, Trevor Lawrence is on a 3-year. He's in his 3rd year, so they paid him even before that. So apparently, this is a prove it year for Trevor Lawrence because his guaranteed monies, right, that he gets. Now, there's guaranteed money and then there's fully guaranteed money, right? That's the one you're going to see. Plus the 2 years he has left on his contract averages out to about $36, $38 million a year. So he's not getting fit. There's nobody in football that's making $55 million a year or $50 million a year. There ain't. Maybe Deshaun Watson. I think they paid him $200 million guaranteed or something. But he's on his, third year, I think. And look how that turned out. And then it says, speaking to an NFL general manager, he stated that if we were overseeing the Tua Tagovailoa negotiation, he'd aim to pay him in the same ballpark as Goff. Okay? That's his opinion. Goff. That's fair, right? That's fair. Okay? I still like to see him play on his fifth-year option, but that's fair. And Goff is not making $53 million. And when you average it out, right, guaranteed monies, he's making about $43 million. $43 million. Well, still a lot of money, right? I don't think Goff's worth $43 million. I don't think Herbert's worth the money they're paying him, right? But it is what it is, right? Tua said the market is what the market is. But in order to be part of that market, you have to play like a franchise quarterback. You can talk that if you walk the talk. Or you talk the walk, however it goes. You know what I'm saying. Let's see. I'm not going to get too much more into this. It says at 26 years old, there's still a question of whether, going back to the question, the Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa are good enough together to make meaningful noise. In other words, winning the playoffs, getting to the championship, winning the division. In 2023, Miami went 1-6 against playoff teams. 1-6. In those games, Tua Tagovailoa threw 8 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions, and never once surpassing 300 yards. But we want to pay him big monies. He's a good player, as I said, but he will never be elite. Another defensive coordinator who has faced Tua Tagovailoa. This is a defensive coordinator that has faced our quarterback. Okay? I can't believe this. They must be watching my show or used to watch Real Talk Fins Talk. He says he's a good player, but will never be elite. And and I said the defensive coordinator who faced Tua says they try to make him read things. So they try to make him read. They try to take away his first read and make him go through his progressions. He just throws it to spots. What? Did I say that? No. Another defensive coordinator said that. That's played against him. And we've heard it many times from other players who said the same thing. He says he throws in spots a lot of the time. He says all you have to do is keep changing the windows on him and he will struggle. In other words, you confuse him, you take away his first reads, make him go through his progressions, take him out of his comfort zone, you get him out of his rhythm, and he struggles. So I'm just going to stop there. I think you all get my point. But we all want to compare Tua Tagovailoa to other quarterbacks. This is why I don't compare Tua Tagovailoa to other quarterbacks. As much as I critique him and talk about our quarterback, I also talk positive about him. When he does good things, I'm the first one to jump on the bandwagon to praise him. If he doesn't, I jump off of it. That's just the way. I talk about him the way that he plays. He is the one that needs to change. He is the one to show us that he can take us to the promised land. It's up to him. That's the only way he's going to change my mind. It's the only way he's going to change my mind, guys. Also, I wanted to make one more comment, and then I wanted to get your guys, if you had any questions or any opinions. I want to get your feedback on the show tonight. Tell me how you felt it went. Is there anything else you'd like to see me do? How would you like to see what direction would you like to see this show go? I'll take your thoughts and food for thought, and because I'm here for you guys. So anyway, I wanted to make this one more mention about Mahomes, right? Patrick Mahomes, everybody, he's elite, right? Everybody says he's elite. He is elite. He's the best quarterback in football right now. He's an alien out there, right? Thing about it is, did you know that Mahomes is a terrible processor? Yes. Patrick Mahomes, the elite quarterback, does not process, the field. When he drops back and he's looking at the field, he's not very good at processing. But one thing that he has that a lot of quarterbacks don't have, right? And especially our quarterback, unfortunately, he knows to improvise. He can improvise, he can create off script, and he has a hell of an arm. He can throw across the numbers, right? He can get out of the pocket. He can scramble. He can throw on the run. He keeps his head up when he runs, and he's looking downfield. Okay? He's looking downfield, and his receivers help him, right? They get open, he sees them, bam, he can get it to him. Anticipation. That is anticipation. That is anticipation. Anyway, guys, that's all I had on the Tua thing tonight, and a little news on Calais Campbell. I'm happy about that move. I think we're going in the right direction. I think we did great in the draft. I think Greer did well in picking up players to replace some of the players that we lost this year. I'm a little concerned about the line, but not so much, because I think we can get by with an average line. I really do. San Francisco 49ers, they do the same thing the Miami Dolphins does, right? We're almost an exact duplicate. They don't invest a lot of money in their offensive line. They don't. And it's cost them. Garoppolo got hurt, has been hurt. Brock Purdy's got hurt. Tua Tagovailoa's got hurt. So, it's good and it's bad, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it works for them. They got to the Super Bowl, right? But guys, that's all I had for you tonight. Right, Raphael. Yeah, thank you. Safety, Marcus May, I think is a good addition. Good depth piece. Veteran guy, he's been around, but he's on his last leg too, right? Same as Poyer. So we'll see. But I think we got a lot better depth this year. We're a little more prepared if we have the injuries, because injuries are going to happen, right? Now, we had a lot of injuries last year, no doubt. So we'll see. But I think we're more prepared this year than we were last year, right? So thank you, Raphael. Appreciate it. Well, thank you, Vito. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you joining. Hammer Time, appreciate you. I know Evan was in here at one point. I appreciate him joining tonight. All of you guys, man. I love you guys, and I appreciate you for joining. And we're going to try to do this every Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm here in Florida now, so I'm actually on Eastern Standard Time. We'll do this. And eventually, as the show progresses, I want to start doing some shows kind of on the spot, breaking news kind of stuff. Maybe I'm retired, so I can do some stuff during the day sometimes or on the weekend. So keep an eye out for that. Hopefully, you hit that like button as you go out, and subscribe if you are new to the channel. You're listening to other channels or other platforms. If you're listening, hit that like button. And come over here on YouTube and subscribe, man. And because that's going to help push the notifications out. But I really do appreciate you guys for joining us tonight. I went a little longer than I wanted to. I got a little, I got carried away a little bit. I can talk forever. So until next time, guys, God bless.
Hey, Miami sports fans. Stop by Canesware today at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida, and check out their awesome merchandise selection of your favorite South Florida sports teams. From the Miami Dolphins, Hurricanes, Heat, Marlins, Florida Panthers, and Inter Miami, they've got it all. Celebrate your favorite team and show off your fandom with their beautiful team starter jackets, killer-looking helmets, team jerseys, cool shirts, and more. And if you're out of town or out of state, no worries. Go to caneswear.com and find everything they have on their site. Select what you want, and they will ship your gear to you. Anything over $99 is shipped for free. Don't wait. Stop at Caneswear today.